Let's take a look at our new Breezeway integration and workflow. First, we need to connect our Breezeway account with VRTrust. We do this by adding a connection, clicking on Breezeway, and hitting Connect. This prompts us to enter both a client ID and a client secret key. You should reach out to your Breezeway team to get these details and enter them into VRTrust to make the connection. Here, we can see that a connection has already been made. Once that's set up, we click in and then go to Workflows and Settings to enable it and select the default vendor. The default vendor is usually us, as the property manager, since billable expenses from Breezeway are pulled into VRTrust as reimbursable billable expenses, with the property manager as the vendor. Below, we set our different configurations, including mapping each task type to an expense account within VRTrust. For example, housekeeping is mapped to a housekeeping expense account, and maintenance is mapped to a maintenance expense account. We leave the inspection department blank since we aren't bringing in any expenses for inspection department tasks. Moving to the next tab, we can set up default markup rates for each department and apply different tax rates as needed for our specific tax jurisdiction. Once the configurations are set, we can run the workflow for a specific date range. We can choose just 2 days or an entire month. The system will bring in all completed tasks with expenses marked as billable to owner from Breezeway. Now, let's take a quick look at Breezeway and a task within their system. Here, we have a task. From the Task Overview screen, we switch to the Cost tab. Here, we see a cost added as labor and designated billed to the owner. Only charges and costs billed to the owner are pulled into VRTrust. Below, we see various supplies added to this task, which are also brought in as individual lines to the expense. Please note that no markups are applied to supplies, only to labor and material costs added above. Once we run the workflow, those expenses quickly come into the platform, where we can filter for all Breezeway tasks and even find this particular bill to review. Let's note that we've tagged this expense to the listing within Breezeway and assigned it to the housekeeping account set up during configuration. We've also brought in the description from the expense line, marked it as a billable owner expense, and included the total amount. As mentioned earlier, this is posted as a non-trust account item. This means it's an expense for the owner and is recorded as a reimbursable expense to us, the manager, on the property management statement at the end of the month. If we need to rerun or change configurations, or if we update details within Breezeway and need to repost different expenses, we can simply delete an expense. Then, rerun that time frame to pull in any expenses that need to be reposted. We hope this helps streamline billable expenses for your owners at the end of the month.